Okay, so now it's September 25th. Welcome to my jungle here. 2025. So I've got some good news. I went over there to that complex because I've done this in the past when, you know, they're building houses or whatever, right? And I talked to a guy named Jason, and I asked him if there was any, you know, scrap wood, right, that maybe I could scoop up on. He asked me basically what I needed. I said, well, everything. Right? I need 2x2s, 2x4s, you know, 2x6s, 2x8s, plywood, any size, it doesn't matter. You know, yada yada. I need those border things, well, for baseboards, those long. He had a name for it. I didn't know what he called. I can't remember. I said, yeah, I need those, right? Because I don't have those anymore. And you know, he told me, he said, well, just leave it with me. I'll go through the site, and I'll drop it off with on a pallet with a, I guess a bobcat or something. I said, that'll work for me. I was so happy. So I'm really happy for that. And then Gabe just called me. We're still not on the same page, but we're working on it, right? And he's going to come by tomorrow, and, you know, there's no quote-unquote building or repairing of things yet. First we got to get the wood, and then he's got to, you know, do an assessment as to what's what and where it needs to go, and then, you know, I need to still clear out things like the X Club. It needs to be gutted, right? You know, dismantle part of it. I need to clear out the Mr. Lace's cat house for the boys before, you know, Gabe or anybody for that matter can go in there and do, you know, the wood stuff and whatever, glass or whatever needs to be done, right along with the greenhouse. And then of course there's the hen house, and then we got this shed up in here that, you know, at the tail end of things I'd like to, you know, tidy up and, you know, secure it, and at least one half, and leave the other half for the raccoons. Make a little habitat for them or something if, you know, they want to have their babies, or they just want to, you know, have a hideout, because, you know, raccoons got to live too, right? And as they're cutting down all these big trees, they're also cutting down the raccoons' habitats, because raccoons will live in trees, right? So that's one good thing about that, in terms of the wood, and, you know, somebody that's, we just got to get our time coordinated. He wants to start at 7 in the morning. Apparently he goes to school. I'm like, no. You know, better to catch me around 10 or 11 in the morning, because I don't know where I'm going to be at 7 in the morning, you know. I could very well be up, but Amari could be bouncing around, and Andre's sleeping, or, you know, I've already been up since 2 in the morning, and, you know, I want to lay down and just do that little cat nap, in and out, just to catch up, and, you know, and wake up at a couple hours or an hour later. You know, I'll even lay down and just cat nap for an hour on and off, right? Depending on what time I lay down. Sometimes I lay down, you know, at 8:30, 9 o'clock, thinking, oh, I'll just lay down for an hour, and then it's like noon. Like, wake up, everybody wake up. Mommy needs his medicine. That doesn't happen very often, but, you know, there's no fixed time, right? So basically, I worked outside already for at least an hour, working with weeds. I'm just going through the bags that they put out there and rebagging, and filled up the you know, the neighbor's compost bin with the, you know, city refuge for the, you know, the morning glory and all that crap. And pull. Got another big freaking pile with all that morning glory growing that way. Oh my God, you don't even know, people. 50 bags later, I'm telling you. Like the good old days. And some of these grapes are ripening, so I'm cutting them right now. And they're the ones with the seeds. My landlady doesn't like them, per se. But it's not a big harvest, right? In terms of when the Norway maple was there, and the grapevine was, oh my God, but they all had seeds in them, right? And these people next door, those renters, the Syrians, They literally, they cut back all the freaking. I looked over the fence and they killed like half the fence, and they were like a different kind of grape with no seeds, and they were so sweet. Nothing's growing, not even on my side. They killed it all. That's why they come on my side to pick leaves, because they don't want it on their side. But that's not my problem. So anyway, I'm not dehydrating these ones because they got seeds in them, and I'm not in the mood to be picking seeds and da da da. They're trying to whatever. So what I'm going to do, not that I got time for this, but it won't take long. I might do it tonight. I might do it tomorrow morning. I can get everything ready, but I can do the prep work tonight. I can wash the jars. I've got the jars. You see, that's the nice thing about it. I got the jars, right? I can either do pint size or I can do quart size, depending on how fast I just want to get it done with, right? But I'm going to can them, seeds and all, in a light syrup, light to medium syrup, and they're sweet. So really, all it needs is a light syrup. Yeah, and if I do the prep work tonight, wash the jars, clear off the counter there with those other jars, put them on the floor so the social workers can come up and say, we told you you're not allowed to have stuff on your floor because of this, and I'll be, yeah, but the grapes came in, and and I needed the counter to can them because Andre can use them with smoothies, or we can use them to make a dip with or something, or I can put them into Amari's food depending how well the seeds grind up, because that's for Amari it's a little different, right, with the seeds, but I can always pick out the seeds before I grind up the grapes, right? I'm gonna have that done by tomorrow. But my hip, I don't want to do it today. I'll do the prep work today, but my hip is going out on me, right? You think I like sleeping on a couch? No, but special circumstances, right? That's the best for Amari, because it just is. At this point, where the game changer will come is when I move from the house and I start fresh, and I build around basically Amari's needs when it comes to that king size mattress, yada yada, right? Who's going to be around for that? I don't know. I'm not leaving anytime soon. Not yet. It doesn't make any financial sense. It would only put me in the hole and jeopardize me even more at this point in life. So I'm going to be canning grapes. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Right? This yard still produces food. Apparently there's blackberries in the back too. Why is he crying?
No, it's just Mickey.
Mickey? What did Mickey do?
Jumped.
Oh, I think, you know what? Now that the grapes I'm picking the grapes, I'm going to have you go to the back and pick the blackberries, and I'll can them. No, there is. Abdul was giving them to me. Behind the greenhouse, there is. Yeah, they're nice big ones. They're really juicy. He was giving them to me. If I can get a couple, 2-3 jars of blackberries, can the grapes and can the blackberry, that's not a problem. Easy peasy. So I'm going to have to do yard work. No, not yard work. I have to wash the jars and everything and get them ready. Right? Depending on how many grapes I find. I'm debating whether I should do quart size or half pint. I mean pints. I think pints are good. I got pint-sized jars. But, out comes the canner. Right? Things get moved around. Right? If these guys come, well, I'll be working outside with them, right? Like for the porch, the X Club, right? I have to be there for that. It's still early. The call is out. Just everybody has to align their energy levels. I give myself to the end of November. I'm the one that's being hyperactive here and panicking, right? I don't like working in November, but I do. I have. I will. I don't know about all these other people though, because it gets really muddy and wet. So by the time you're done, sometimes, because if you're working, the weather is like this, and you know, and they don't have a lot of stamina either, right? Because I guess they're not used to it. Right? So, you know, after an hour and a half, they peter out, and I'm like, right? So, you know, like, you know, if you're like outside for 4 or 5 hours and you're already dirty, because, you know, you've been doing whatever, and the weather's like this, and then it starts to drizzle, and then the rain picks up. I mean, and you're in the middle of doing something, and you want to get another 1 or 2 or 3 more hours in, hell, you just keep on working. And by the time you come in, you're sopping wet, full of frickin' mud. Because of because it's a mud pit, because of the landfill. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. Just give it till the end of November, and hopefully this yard will be in a pretty good condition. And then come spring, and go back over and say, okay, who wants to start pulling morning glory? Well, before spring, it starts to grow even before spring comes. Catch it while it's still just starting to grow. But you'll be pulling all year, 50 bags by the end of the year. So I'm going to be paying to be pulling out morning glory because it's too hard for me, right? And my hip is going out on me. I go by feel, not by sight. Barely can differentiate from leaf to leaf to leaf. Yeah, so that's where I'm at. I'm gonna have another smoke. I'm gonna go back and get those grapes. Oh yes, today's Thursday, right? Thursday. So I went on Canadian Superstore because I didn't push pay yet, right? In terms of my mental therapy with those groceries, and I wanted to see what the new free gift was. Well, guess what it is? Oh my God! You know I want to get it. It's a butterball. Turkey infused with butter. Technically, when you're canning, you don't want an infused turkey with butter. Like, you know, right? Technically, because it gets more greasy. But I'll take anything. They got it at a value of up to $38, which is, you know, spend the $300 for what I need. Adjust my whatever, do the $325, and I get a free turkey out of it, and it's frozen. So that means I can put it in my freezer. My fridge. I can put it in my fridge for 2 days, let it slowly unthaw, and that buys me 2 days to work with the guys and the gals or whoever I'm working with, as well as, I don't know, wait for the social workers to show up, give me a hard time, because I'm canning grapes and I'm canning freaking turkey, and if I'm going to do the turkey, that's when I'll get those chicken claws from the freezer, and I'll start stewing them with some of those chicken thighs. The turkey, this is the way I'd do it. I'd unthaw the turkey. I'm gonna end this in a minute, right? I'd unthaw the turkey. I'd debone it. I'd use the bones of the turkey with the chicken claws and a few chicken thighs that I have that are frozen, assuming that I can break them up because they're probably just in one big bag. And cook that for 24 hours on low to get that rich collagen, well, I suppose turkey broth with chicken claws in it and yada-de-yada. Or I can do 2 separate pots. I can just stick with the chicken claws and the chicken thighs and go for that rich collagen broth. And then the turkey bones, well, I'd just make a small little batch, just enough to pour into my jars with the turkey that I'm going to can. Because I can the turkey. Yeah, and maybe eat a little bit, right? So I got to make sure I have enough jars for that, because I like pint-sized jars for that. Quart size get heavy, and I already got enough quart size, and you know, it's like whatever. So that's what I'm thinking to do. All right. I'm thinking to can turkey in a couple, 2, 3, 4 days from now with the chicken claws. With people hopefully working with or without me, because if I'm canning, I'm not going to be able to work with them. So it depends. It depends on what needs to be done. Gabe doesn't need me out there if he's doing greenhouse repairs, yada yada, but I gotta get the skill saw and the jigsaw and this and that and make it so that he's got the drill with the, get the drill, and I don't know where the bits are though. Good luck finding the bits. At this point, I might be able to find some bits, maybe. But I got screwdrivers anyway. Remember, I had to replace them. Rhea walked off with all my screwdrivers. And then I bought them. What did I pay? Something like $350, $400 for a couple of sets. One was really, really good. The one set was like over almost $300 just for the one set. And then I bought another set. And by the time you did taxes and all that shit, and I gave it to my son. With a brand new toolbox. I won't bring out the toolbox. I'll just bring out a few screwdrivers. Right. So we'll have to wait and see. So I'm going to be going into a power can here. Definitely with the grapes. I'm not wasting them. No way. No way. Food is way too expensive, and whenever you can get it organic, I'm telling you, even if they have seeds, and seeds are good for you, grape seeds are good for you. So, I'm eating, I'm cutting, and I'm biting, because my fingers are dirty, right? I'm biting and I'm chewing on the grape seed, and they're really good, so I don't care, like, I'm canning them. Yeah, and I'm not going to worry. I'm not going to worry about my stuff getting ruined. None of that crap. And this little stroller that we got for Amari, Tisha said it's $8,000. The government is sneaky, eh? Seriously, they're so freaking sneaky. Okay, so you have a disabled child, you sign up with the at-home program, they plug you into the child development center, yada yada yada. And with these special needs children, you need a special needs wheelchair, you need a special needs tomato chair, you need in this case we need a special needs quote unquote stroller. All right, the wheelchair was like 10 grand, right? And so what these workers do is they put the application in for the government to pay for the wheelchair. So, but they only pay a portion of it. They'll only pay $7,000. So then these workers at the Child Development Center, right? They use your name to put an application in with the Variety Club, those kind of places that do fundraisers for children with disabilities, to top off what the government doesn't pay. So that goes through after you submit all your paperwork and prove that you're on low income and yada yada, right? And then you get the wheelchair, you keep it. They tell you it belongs to you. They tell you that it belongs to you, right? Okay, so now we don't need the wheelchair. We would prefer to have a, because we never used it outside. It just sat in the living room. We really didn't do anything. And then with Alea May climbing all over it and Kyrie climbing all over it, it ended up kind of getting, like, some of the connections got moved and we couldn't, anyway, we requested for a wheelchair, not a wheelchair, a stroller, because they're asking, what do you need? Well, a stroller would be nice. All right. Well, before we can work on the stroller, you have to bring us back the wheelchair and the tomato chair. Because they got a different kind of tomato chair that's coming in with a tray versus a wheelchair, because I just said I don't need the wheelchair. I don't use it, right? Outside of what happened to it over the course of how many years I had it. So for as much as they say, and don't forget, they had to fundraise on my name with it to have the top off. But before you can get the new equipment, you have to hand in the old equipment. So it never really belongs to you. No. Same thing with the stander. They made me take this stander They made me do all that, whatever. They gave me the stander, and then the stander just sat in the playroom, never used it. And I said, I just don't want it. I don't need it. It's not working. He doesn't like it. So I gave it back to them. So anyway, this stroller is like $8,000, but boy, does he ever love it. And there's so much room on it, right? Like, I'm kind of wanting to go out with him in it because it's so nice. It's really so sad that I don't see very well. Yeah. But I'm managing. So you can hear the music now, starting. Now I have a choice. My hip is killing me, like literally it's killing me. I'm noticing it's going on me more and more. Not every day. Some days are good, some days are not, right? Okay, so. But I've been working outside, squatting and bending and lifting and pulling. And, yesterday I did not work outside. What did I do yesterday? I tried to do more computer work with banking, learning how to do an e-transfer. I wasn't very good at it. I didn't work. I tried to e-transfer myself some money into a different account. It just didn't fucking work. I've been on the computer since 1999, and I don't even know how to do an e-transfer. I'm trying to save money by using a different account where I don't have to pay fees for paying bills and stuff. But stupid me, I didn't even realize that you have to pay for e-transfers. So that by the time you e-transfer what you want to pay your bills, you might as well just pay your bills from the account that you have them in, but they're connected to CIBC Bank. And after what they've done to me with Uncle John and everything, honestly, I'm trying to wean myself out of that bank. I still want to take my court papers and everything and send it to head office in Toronto and have them do an internal investigation into the medical kidnapping of Uncle John to steal his inheritance and to lock him away like a dirty secret so that the bank employees that helped to facilitate that get reprimanded and fired. It would be great if they went to jail, but that would never happen. There is no statute of limitation on murder. Okay? What they did was a form of murder because they brought him to an early death. It was just prolonged torture before he died. So I'm working on that in terms of trying to wean myself out of that bank. As I call them up and they say, "Oh, you're such a nice customer. We've had you for 30 years. We're so proud that you're with us and we love you." Yeah, right. Love me my ass. No, you don't love me. You bankrupted me. You kept me in perpetual poverty. You extorted my family. I'm still paying, so much money for a credit card that should have been paid off within a year before they took John, because John and we already had our sights on it and we were going to pay it down. But they went with the big money. They went with the inheritance with a crooked public union employee that used her position of authority to steal. Well, the government conspired to cover it up because they don't want to open up a ministry to start auditing their employees with their, what is that called? Criminal activity within the public union sector as a whole when it comes to organized crime. Yeah. Now, could you see me talking about that, doing a live stream as I'm working out up on the porch by the X Club? Well, let's talk about, it only takes 3 under the Criminal Code of Canada to create a criminal organization, and people want to point fingers at the X Club. Oh, it's an X. Oh, God forbid. Yeah, right. You know what? I bet you I could convince James to turn his little garage into an X Club. Yeah. Maybe that's the route we should go. Because he's always said, we need direction. Well, we need a bigger X Club. The one on the porch is too small. That was just the prototype. The one on the porch is just the prototype. Whether it leaks or not, it's still the X Club. These guys, they come. I point. I say, "That's the X Club." They start smiling. Because don't forget, I've gone over there a few times with my Mayor X hat if I ain't wearing the G Kids X hat. Well, now I got the X Club on my porch, and it's X Club, and I'm going, yeah, that's the X Club. And they just start smiling, right? So why not take the smile across the street? Okay, I can can grapes. That's mental therapy too. Yeah. That's mental therapy. At least it doesn't cost me anything. Just my time. Yeah. I gotta go over there and see who's gonna help me today. There's not that many people over there yet. So I just focus on the grapes. I can wander over there later. As if I want to be bending and squatting and lifting and pulling on the porch right now. But I have to because it's going to start to rain. And when it rains, things get ugly around here. In terms of slimy. Jason? Yeah? Huh? Is that male?
Yes.
It was wrong male? Are you the male woman?
Yes.
Oh, you're a male woman?
Right.
Oh, okay. Thank you. All right. They got you dressed up like a worker. They've got this woman dressed up like a worker, why would my male be here like this? She doesn't look like no mailman. I don't know what she was. She looks like one of those people working over there. Yeah. I don't know what this is. I can't see it. I'm supposed to be getting something from the States. I don't know if that came from the States or not. Anyway. So, yeah. I gotta start doing live streams at least every second day. But I might bring out get Andre to set up the camera out on the porch just for a little while, just to do a little quickie. Just do a little quickie live stream. Pump up the jam, eh? See, look, I'm already starting to. Okay, I can can these grapes. That's the right thing to do, people. I'll show them to you in a minute. Okay, so do you see? There's a few more in there, I don't know. Right? The Syrians are killing off the vine. Seriously, they are. And when they cut the Norway maple, they killed off the vine too. So, but the vine, it just keeps wanting to produce. So those ones I'm going to can. I'm probably going to take just a few next door. It doesn't look like anybody wants to work. Can you hear this noise? This is what people look forward to end up homeless. People like me. Yeah. And as they build these buildings, they're wiping out the blackberry bushes, they're wiping out the apple trees, the pear trees, all the walnut trees, which, is good for the raccoons and the squirrels and the possums and the skunks. Whether it's English walnut or a black walnut, preferably black walnuts, because with the I forgot what it's called. They eat the rind a bit, right? And it's a parasite killer. It kills parasites, right? You can use it for humans as well. The husk of the walnut, preferably the black walnut. So as they're killing off all the trees, these animals, they don't have that, right? To eat anymore, so they get even more infested with parasites. Plus they have no food, All the acorn trees, the white oaks, all the oak trees are disappearing. Peach trees, pear trees, hazelnut trees, you know, blackberry bushes, all the grapevines that are in the yards. You know, I've got blueberry, I've got raspberry, that when they tear it, it'll be gone. It'll be nothing. The trees that they plant in front of these buildings, they're ornamental trees because they're cheap. Yeah, and they don't drop nuts or anything, so to clean up, it's a little easier, I suppose, right? You know what I'm saying? Versus, you know, trees dropping their fruit and everything, you know? Like, it's pathetic. It's so freaking pathetic. Anyway, Andre was saying it looks like there might be a storm coming, and then my heart goes like this with the Boo Boo Garage flooding. Yeah. It's one panic attack after another panic attack after another panic attack. It's cold. It's kind of chilly, right? But when you're working and you're moving around and you're wearing stuff like this, it's not so bad. But, you know, honestly, I'm really not in the mood to be dickering around on the porch by myself right now. Especially with these grapes now. I didn't expect them to be ripe. The last time I checked them, they weren't ripe. Now they're actually quite good. Yeah. So I'm not going to be foolish. It'll be a sad day, though, when they tear down this house. For the amount of food that it produced over the years, whether it was grown in the ground, or, yeah, blueberries, raspberries, blackberries, grapes, freaking plums over there, pears. I don't know about I don't know what happened to the pears. They killed the tree, and then the tree keeps trying to come back. But I don't know. Andre said there was pears up there, but they mutilated that tree, so it's not as healthy as it used to be. The owner next door, he killed it, tried to kill it, and then it tried to come back. Every year it tries to come back, but it's too damaged. Yeah, killed the apple tree in the back too. Yeah. When those people moved in, after the French people moved out, they were so sad that the little apple tree was gone. They rented the house because they seen the little apple tree with the apples on it. When they finally got the house, the tree was gone. Yeah. And it was just starting to produce apples. It was young, right? It wasn't very big at all, but it had beautiful little apples on it. And then he cut the pear tree in half. Like, who does that? You know, like, seriously, who does that? But that's because these guys, they own these properties. They got good money, right? And they live in those monster houses where they're gated communities where they have those kind of trees, as they wipe out everywhere else the trees. Yeah, that's what they do. So I'm going to take a few grapes next door. I don't think anyone wants to work today, so I can't get out. I can't get bent out of shape. It's either going to happen or it isn't, right? You know, you got to just go. Everybody's got their own ebbs. Everybody's got their own energy flows. I mean, clearly a lot of these people over here, they're not used to it, right? You know what I'm saying? So, you know, right? It takes a while to build up stamina, whether it's in your brain or whether it's in your body. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And, you know, if they want to come, they can start. There's right? And what I'm going to do here with these grapes, I probably won't can them today. I should do all the prep work, right? Just do whatever, and not worry about this, not worry about that. Get the jars ready, wash them, get them in the oven, do them at 250, whatever, get the canner out, right? You know, these things, I was reading, right? Somebody said, as you're doing them, take them off as you do them and then put them in the clean jars and then can them. I'm gonna just pick them off gently rinse them off, throw them in the jars, after they've been sterilized in the oven. I ain't boiling jars, it takes too long. I'll put in 24 jars of, I won't need 24 jars, but I'll probably do pint size. If I do the turkey, I'm going to have to order another case of jars. I like my pints, right? Because if I do those in quarts, I could probably get that done within 7 quarts, easy peasy. Right? But then you're kind of forced to use them up all at one time. Where if I do pints, you know, it's, if you want 2 jars, you bring out 2. If you only want the one, you just open the one and it's good to go. Right? So I have one more smoke. Now I'm going to go take a few of those over. I don't think anyone wants to work. They're not weathered for it. Right? You know. The weather is changing, you know, and they're not used to it. The dirtier it gets, obviously that becomes a problem. Which, as soon as the rains come, in comes the mud, the grit, the grime, the algae. But who's complaining? I'm still getting grapes after all these years. I don't know what the hell that was. Was that a bird? Was that a little bird? I can't see no bird. You still have to listen to this. It's coming from over here. The ones that think I'm white trash. I don't do anything. I'm a waste of Canadian space. But I had a God moment today because I ran into a man named Jason who's going to get me some wood just because there's so much of it that's going into the refuge bin. And gonna help me out. So I'm excited for that wood, believe it or not. I told Gabe, he goes, oh well, make sure he gets like the 2x6s and the 2x8s, you know, anything will do. And I'm like, yeah, well, that's what I mentioned to him, but you know, as it is, we just take what we can get. And hopefully when he drops it off, you know, I'll see it, right? And I can go out there and I can talk to him and take a quick boo at it. And then, well, I can always go to the job site and ask for Jason, right? The one with the bobcat. Say, well, you forgot the 2x6s and the 2x8s and the 2x10s because, you know, those we need too, right? And then he, you know, Gabe was putting in an order for 3/8 plywood. I'm like, okay, well, I think we're just going to take what we get. It's not a specialty order here. I don't care what kind plywood it is. As long as it's not, quote unquote, rotten. I don't even care if it's weather worn. I'd be happy to get my weather worn plywood back. Are you listening to this? It gives me a freaking headache, man. Like, you don't even know. Oh. And once they're done doing whatever it is that they're doing and they're going to start pouring this cement, in comes the big freaking cement trucks. Okay, I'm going next door with some grapes. Okay. So what do you think I'm doing here? Huh? Getting myself into trouble? I'm having some serious panic attacks. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm such a naughty person. I'm just saying. I'm trying to rescue my food from outside. Yeah. I organize it before the social workers show up with their little spot check. I had to change buckets because the buckets weren't lining up. So now I'm trying to fill up buckets, label buckets. I have this, which I'm going to take out of this, and then I'm going to use this container for my nails outside. Yeah, because in those days I never knew anything about Mylar bags, and if I did, I didn't act on it, right? Now this is, good luck. It's so old. I know this is old. This was downstairs in that 14-year-old food storage, I think, at one point. And I don't know. The labels that wore off. Something wore off here. Either or. I'm pretty sure it's lentils. So, yeah. It's just your basic lentil. Just those little green ones or whatever they are. They're not green, but tastes like a lentil to me. It actually tastes really good. So, because I'm trying to, get rid of shit. Things kicking around on the floor. I'm just going to put it in a... Oh, that's good. That's actually very good. Really. Now I got a nice container for nails, because I'm going to be getting in the shed with Gabe. He coming tomorrow at 10 o'clock in the morning. Nobody wants to work right now. The weather's changing. That's why it's getting cold. Yeah. And they pooped out. So, I'm just going with that flow. Oh, that's very low, isn't it? I'm just going with that flow. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how long this camera's going to work for. Because I was doing the grapes. I got to do these grapes. I'll be up doing this for quite a while, really, because after I'm kind of get these buckets and make the path, even though I'm tired, and sometimes I like to just rest and then come back at it, right? What do you call it? Now I have to get these grapes preferably in the fridge. I'd like to wash them and just, but I don't know. I can only do so much, right? And then with this guy coming at 10 in the morning, I'm like, just, okay, Judy, just if he shows, get outside. And so I'll be outside freezing my ass off at 10 o'clock in the morning. Because it will be just him and I working. I can't send him out there by himself, not yet. I don't have the wood yet. I have to wait for the wood to see if that guy, Jason, drops off that wood first. And he's probably just collecting up a pallet. I'm going to put old on this. I'm going to put 2011 with a question mark. Because I know for a fact these things were downstairs at one point. And then I brought them out, and they've just been kicking around. So I got a bucket here that I brought from downstairs. I'm going to have to buy a new bucket soon. I'm using all the buckets. I'm going to try and refrain from doing that. I'm just going to put lentils too on it. This is just the miscellaneous stuff that I'm, using more regularly now. Okay, so we'll put that in there. Still got a lot of room. I got into my room. I know I have a black beans in a plastic bag, but I can't find it. It's funny how these things, they get on your nerves and they're always up in your face. They're like that for months and months, and then you move it, and then, 3 weeks later, or whatever it is, it's been about a month since I moved them. And do you think I can find them in my room right now? No. Because I was going to put them in here, right? But this is fine. Found this instead. this is working out pretty good. So we'll put those there. As long as the bucket is mostly full, which it is. Alright, just a little left over for something, nothing too major. So we're going to put that back on there. But I'm like, you know, I'm panicking, right? It's hard on the heart, hey? You know, stress, that is. Because, you know. Okay, where's the label? There's the label. So we got that there. And then this, in this bucket, don't ask me. I remember there's raisins, so how do I label this? Just miscellaneous. I have like in jars, and one size gallon jars, and I've got a few raisins up there. But you know, most of my raisins are in jars and that type of thing. This was just the leftover stuff, right? So like this is, yeah, like dried fruit, raisins, dates, chocolate chips, cranberries, and then just a bunch of Mylar bags. Grape seeds. What else is in here? Flour. Old. So before I throw out the flour, I'm going to see if I like it. If I like it, I'll keep it. If I don't like it, I'll chuck it out. Or maybe I'll do, what is that called? Paper mache with my little grandkids after everything's all organized. I would prefer to do it outside, but I could do it right here on a whole bunch of paper, I suppose. So I'm going to just put baking goods. How about that? Why don't we just put baking goods? That'll work, because this bucket's pretty much full. Alright. Now I have to clean off this. I take all those big ass jars down. Right? Because I'm going to need them for the jars for the grapes. I got 16 pint size regular malt jars for the grapes, which should hopefully be more than enough, I would think. I thought I had regular malt pint size jars, 500 ml, but I don't. So if I buy that turkey, which I haven't done yet, in terms of get that free turkey if I do my order, right? You know, I prefer wide mouth for meat. I do. So I'm just gonna go baking goods. That will work. Right. So let's put this on there, that little label. Right. Oh my lord. Life is just stupid. Really, really stupid. So we'll just put baking goods on there. Okay. There we go. Now, general dry goods. It's in that bucket. I have a bucket that needs to actually go downstairs, I think. Well, there's another one behind there, but I just... When they said, oh, if you don't, you know, you have to make the path right in here. Oh, wait. We're coming back in 3 hours. Whatever. And then what happens? The stairs crash it. Andre was coming up them. It's a good thing he didn't get hurt. Yeah. It is a good thing he did not get hurt. Okay, so I got 2 buckets over here. So what's in this bucket? What is it here? Okay, soft white wheat sproutable sprout first. Now, in this bag, there's 2 of them here. I want them up. They came obviously from the farms, right? And it would have been organic. And then, you know, when they come in at 44 pounds, they come in really big bags, eh? And then there was just this leftover, and I wrapped it up. Okay, so clearly I vacuum sealed I sealed the ends of them, because when I stuck my hand into the bag, you know, I wasn't, like, there was no moths or nothing in it. I just, because it sat for so long, you know, what I did is I sifted it to sift off some of the shaft, the outer crust of the wheat, right? I'm pretty sure it's soft white wheat. I'm not sure. It was some kind of wheat. Anyway, and then I put it in the Mylar bag after I sifted it. Because, you know, they're like, that's 2 full 1 gallon sized bags in there. I'm pretty sure. I'll show you. It was a lot, right? This stuff costs money, eh? So, and then I doused it with a bunch of organic, what's this? What is this? Yeah, this is some sort of bulgur wheat. It's in a plastic bag, but whatever. The problem with plastic bags, I don't know. The ones today, not so much the old ones back in the day, they were much better. These new ones, you're always having to take air out of them. Anyway, that's a fair amount, 2 of them like that, right? So I took it out of that farm bag, I sifted it, looked for bugs. I asked Andre to look, he said he didn't see any. You know, for those little, you know, they like wheat, right? They're almost like a cupboard bug, eh? And he said he didn't see anything moving around, nothing like that. And I said, okay, well, that's good. And then bagged them up, doused it with a bunch of oxygen absorbers. And then I took that flat iron and I sealed it really good. So, if for some reason I missed something, it didn't survive. I don't think so. So I put sproutable, because you can sprout those, right? And then I can dehydrate them after they're sprouted, and then I can grind them up. That's what I'm thinking, right? Or you can sprout them and cook them after they're sprouted, right? And because, you know, they sat in the other bag for so long, and when I stuck my hand in there, I didn't really like, you know, I just wasn't too sure. But again, Andre looked and he didn't see nothing, so it was probably just, you know, how things oxidize, right? So I'm just going to put sproutable wheat on that. The bulgur wheat doesn't sprout. I don't know if I'm going to keep that. I might just use that for cat food if I do cat food, because it's so old and it's been sitting in that bag forever. And it's not like I really need it, right? So more than likely, if I ever decide to do cat food, I'd probably use it for that. But I'd smell it first and I'd taste it, right? Sproutable wheat. I'm just going to put sproutable wheat. Right? And that will motivate me. Okay? One day I feel like sprouting it, and then I'm going to put dehydrate. I'm going to try that. Dehydrate. I wanted to dehydrate it, right? I'll just put dehydrate in brackets. Yeah. Because I've got better wheat than that I can sprout. And then, you know, using salad or whatever, you know, use raw, right? I don't want to use that one raw. Just because it was the tail end of that bag that sat around forever. So that's what that's about. So we'll just put that there. Alright. Okay. And we'll put that on. I guess it doesn't really matter. And of course I'm gluing on my hair under the label. Alright, so I don't know when I'm going to find time to do these grapes, because if I'm outside working at 10 o'clock in the morning, I'll probably be out there for quite a few hours. Until he wants to quit. Alright? And then if somebody else comes by, if they do, which at this point it doesn't seem like nobody wants to work, which is whatever, you know. And then I'll come in, and we don't know what time I'm getting up, right? We just don't know. I mean, like, we just don't know. Okay, so the next one is the general dry goods. This is the stuff that was outside on the porch that when the mouse guy sat out there for a whole year in a plastic bag. Yeah, a whole bunch of toys. But I never could get to them, right? And anyway, isn't that cute? So cute. I brought that in for a lay of May, so I'll wipe that down. And then there's this little box for Amari. It's a little zipper. Still okay. And there's... oh, the zipper's broken. If I could see, I could change it. Easy peasy, but I can't see, so I don't know about changing it anytime soon. But at this point, Amari's not going to care. Alright, so I'll just wipe it down. And when I got time, I'll go through those other toys, because I got toys all over the place, right? Ugh. Anyway. Alright. I brought that in. It's just more things on the floor for now. And I hid the toys in the cold room with the water in case of an emergency. Yeah. The grid will go down. I have a little bit of water in those old water jugs. I don't know if they sell them anymore. They're like 10 gallons or something like that. I think. 5 gallons? Five. I don't know how many gallons, but anyway. That's what I don't like about going blind. You can't see if something's crawling on you. Because that came from outside. Okay. I'm just saying. Alright, so we're switching things up in here, right? That's what we're doing. We're going to put this other bucket... this one right here. It says general goods for cooking. How full is it? I have a bit of room. I don't know if I can put anything else in there. Not much. But we'll put that bucket right there for now. Then I got another bucket here that... all these Kinder Surprises, eh? Maybe those social workers are jealous. Maybe that's the problem. Women get jealous. If they can't have it, you can't have it. Yeah. See, stuff like this. What is this stuff? I don't even have labels on it. This one is moth beans, so technically this should go with the beans. Alright, keep the beans with the beans, right? That's what I'm trying to, you know, if I can free up one bucket for something else that would be better for me. That's what I'm trying to do right now. Oh, what's in this one? Oh my lord. I don't know. Rices and macaroni and more Mylar bags. Okay, so general dry goods. So the beans, if we can squeeze in a few more little beans, that would be good, right? Because I got Amari's little thing up there, so as they run out, I can go into these buckets, you know, just whatever, right? Like you know, I give it to him more, right? Because I'm not really cooking that much for Andre and I. And we wait for Marcane to cook. Right? I don't know. Maybe tapioca. Oh my lord. What is this? Popcorn. General. That's that Facila stuff to help with constipation, but you have to take a lot of water with it. I would like to use it with the Mari, but icing sugar. Oh yes, I have a box over there with sugar. So if I can empty out one bucket and put all that sugar into the one bucket and get it out of the box, that would be great. What is this? I don't know. Can't see. Chinese sesame blanch. Just miscellaneous stuff. You think I'd get tired of doing this crap? Right? Oh yeah, see, more beans. No, that's popcorn. Pistachios. There we go. Put that in Mari's little container. This is sugar cookies, so that should go with the bacon. There you go. That's how you do it. There's a little bit of room in there. These are those things. So empty out this bucket for sesame seeds. I can put that in Amari's thing. Then I can put the sugar in here. This is real wasabi powder. I paid $45 for this. It's not even very big. I put that in my room. Okay, so now I got a nice bucket here for the sugar. Brown sugars, that kind of stuff. Just stuff that never got put away. And I just seen a little leftover, what is that? Icing sugar. So that's what I'm doing right now, and as you can see, where's the path? There's no path. Yeah. Okay, so every day is a new day and something new comes along. There's always those little detours, and right now it's grapes. I got 2 big bowls of grapes sitting by my front door with a cloth over it, because by the front door is, you know, cold air coming in, right? So it's like Gabe is supposed to come over. He called me yesterday. I'm going to be there at 10 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, okay, if you say so. It's now almost 20 after 10. I phoned him at 9:50, 10 minutes to 10, to confirm, because I got these grapes, right? So, like, honestly, I need to get up on them, like, today and get them done today. I have to, because they're organic, they're fresh, and they're nutritional. And I'm waste not, want not, and I got the jars, and I'm ready to go. I can pace myself through it and have them done, because don't forget, I have to pick one off each vine, you know, and rinse them and get them in the jars, right? But once it's all said and done, it's done. And so I'm up for that challenge. So if he shows, if he would have showed up, like if he would have called me and said I'm on my way, I would have just sucked it up and went outside and worked with him and put the grapes off. Just because it's better if I'm with him. But now that he's running late and he keeps doing this shit to me, okay, whatever, it's just Mickey Mouse stuff out in the yard. Just calm down, Judy. Sooner or later it will get done, whether you do it by yourself or whether you get a mosh posh of people coming on the fly, because I'm finding the ones that want to work next door only want to work when they want just a little extra cash right then and there. Beer money, basically. Yeah, or maybe they want a little something else, I don't know. But, right now everybody's got money because, welfare came in, and a large majority of those people over there are on social assistance, so they don't need money right now. But as soon as the money runs out, that's when they'll be bugging me for a little bit of work, whether it's 1 hour's worth of work or 3 hours worth of work, or maybe longer. What Gabe is booked in for, like, okay, let me put it to you this way. If he shows up today, if he does, even though he was adamant that he was going to, but he hasn't yet, and he hasn't even returned my phone call. But besides that point, that's okay. I can roll, I can roll with it. I'm a rolling stone. It's not a big deal. I got a full plate. I juggle. If he comes today, I'll be like, okay, well, I'm now canning grapes. It is what it is. So you can go on the porch by yourself without me, because I'm not going to be out there now except poking my nose as you're calling me to say, well, what do I do with this? And I'll be like, well, I don't know. Do you want it? Maybe you'd like to have it, because if you want it, you can take it home, because I don't want it, because it's just going to continue to get ruined on the porch. Or I'll say, well, it looks to me like it's maybe garbage. Maybe you think we should throw it out. And he goes, yeah, it looks like garbage to me. And I'll be like, okay, well, then chuck it out. Put it in the chuck out pile. Or if I want it, I'll say, well, put it on that pile. And then after, because we have to get to that wall unit that's buckling. We have to get inside to the X Club, take out a few things in there, which there's a nice child's desk. It's quite large, depending on how much space he has. But as a daddy going home to his family with a beautiful tiny tyke play desk that actually has a light on it that works, I mean, like, what child wouldn't be happy? Right? And then that frees up the X Club a little bit, right? Where that desk is, it tends to be one of the more drier parts of the leaky roof. maybe not anymore, but it was last year. So, and then of course, once we got the X Club, for the most part, that's when he can run those tarps up there, or maybe he has a different idea how to capture the water as it's leaking, because I'm just going to tarp him up and have the tarps kind of going like this, so when it rains, the water just kind of goes like this and comes out at one point, right? And then it's going to go wherever, versus all over the place, because that's what I've been battling with for 14 years. And hopefully Jason from the job site down there will come with that pallet of miscellaneous scrap wood, so I don't have to spend $200-$400 on wood to do the things that need to be done. But honestly, well, Gabe could, if he wanted to, he could start on the greenhouse if he showed up today. We could wait on the porch, because there are people out next door that said they'd help me with the porch, but everybody's out and about doing whatever, and they don't want to, and the weather's changing too, eh? And as soon as I tell them, you need to come with, like, work clothes that, they're going to get dirty, right? Make sure you bring a change of clothes if you're not going back home after the fact. People hear that and they, right? So they say, oh yeah, no problem. I'll be there tomorrow, but they're not showing up. So, but given another week and a half, 2 weeks when they have no money, then I can see them showing up. So whether it takes a week or 2 days or how many days, and if Gabe shows up today, you can either work on the greenhouse, you can start, there's enough miscellaneous pieces of wood around the yard that you can gather it up It's just I ain't going to be running around looking for skill saws and screws and nails and yada yada. So it's best for you just to start picking away at the porch. You don't need me out there. You can just put things into pile. You know what garbage looks like. If you know, put things that look good, you know, that are salvageable with a little bit of water or whatever. And then I'll look and I'll say, well, I don't want this. I don't want that. Do you want it? You can have it if you want. You can take it home to your family. I don't care. I don't fucking care. I just want the job done. So I am going to take my energy and I'm going to can grapes today. And I'm going to put this up first. And then we'll start fresh for a new day. A new mission on the grapes, canning grapes. I'm going to show you how I do it. And then I went on Canadian Superstore. Oh my God. Guess what they got? Oh my God. It's a new week. You know what the free gift is? A frozen butterball turkey. Butter infused. I don't like the butter infused part, but I'll work with it. I don't care. It's valued up to $38. It's not going to be very big, but it would go very good with what I got in the, you know, for the chicken claws and that kind of crap, eh? It's just turkey is greasy. And I got a lot of shit I have to do. Turns out I don't have my 500 ml jars with the wide mouth, so I'd have to buy that because I wouldn't feel satisfied if I didn't have that, because I'd be canning some of that turkey, right? You know what I'm saying? Or yeah, I'd be canning some of that turkey. I'd unthaw it, debone it, cook some up for us to eat. Because Andre said, "Oh yeah, no, get it. Turkey's so good. It's so tasty." So I'd have to save some of the bird for us to eat, and then I can can a little bit, but I'd take those bones and I'd put them in with the chicken claws, right? And those chicken thighs, and I'd really go for that collagen. But that's, you know, that's work. As I'm doing yard work, okay, sure, and the daily grind, laundry and dishes, and but I'd have to spend $300 and a bit in order to get my free turkey, which just creates more work. And so far I haven't taken the bait. I haven't pushed pay yet because I got the grapes now. If I didn't have the grapes, I'd be more apt to do it, but because I've got the grapes, you know, that's going to burn me out. And don't forget, you know, when shit happens with these people, however it happens, and when it comes to outside, you know, I'm out there with them. It's not like I just send them out there. I'm out there actually working with them. But being that Gabe is, you know, doing whatever he's doing, if he shows up today, he's doing a solo, because I was ready to put like the old days, like the good old days. Get up, get your coffee, put on your dirty clothes from the day before when you were working in the yard. Put on your little work jacket if it's cold. Put on your little hat if it's cold. Gather up your gloves and get outside from 10 o'clock in the morning until dark. And being that we're going into October, it'll start getting dark around 7:38. And just work. And by the time you come in, depending if it's raining, you're either going to come in just blech, or you're going to come in sopping wet, full of mud. And I doubt that these people are going to want to work in drizzle, you know, when rain starts to drizzle and things start to get muddy, or work in a rain that's like enough to start getting you wet, but not a heavy rain yet, but it's, you know, it's getting things muddy, and algae comes alive because now it's wet, right? Or when the rain picks up and you're right in the middle of something and you don't want to stop because you're already dirty and muddy and blah and blah, right? You know what I'm saying? So you work in that rain, like, you know, they're not going to want to do that next door. So I may end up having to do that yet by myself, which would be fine as long as my grapes are canned. And, you know, like, I was almost ready just to put on my jacket, and, well, I was prepared. I wasn't ready because I didn't expect to find the grapes ripe. From the time that I checked them from before to what I'm finding now, yesterday I didn't expect it. So they were good, sweet, whatever. I made the decision to can them with the seeds, or you can do that. Seeds are good for you. They have a lot of antioxidants, and so I'm just going to can them. Otherwise, I'd be out in the porch by myself right now. But I ain't going to worry about shit like that in terms of I'm already writing off a lot of things in my head, whether I give it away or it's been ruined. So what difference does it matter if it's another day or two before I end up on the porch with or without somebody helping me? If Gabe shows up, you know, all he wants to do is work an hour. He can go around picking up the wood that he needs, that he can find around the yard for the greenhouse, you know. He can just spend an hour doing the prep work, right, and getting it ready, because I'm not digging out no skill saws. I'm not digging out fucking boo-boo screwdrivers, you know, electrical cords. I still have to empty out something in the shed there to be able to get to the nails and the screws, because a bunch of shit was stuffed in there because we had to hide it from the quote-unquote city of Surrey, as they were saying, get rid of everything. So we have to pull out a few of that before we can get to the screws and the nails and that kind of stuff, right? So, like, I ain't sweating it. Grapes come first. Grapes come first. And I don't know about the turkey. I want it. Andre wants me to buy it, get the free turkey, so that, you know, we can have a nice turkey meal with it as I use the bones and maybe can a little bit of it or whatever, but I don't know. I don't need it at this point. Just, you know, outside of the free turkey, everything else can wait. If I need milk, I can just send Andre to the grocery store and buy milk. Yeah, I still got vegetables in the fridge, which I should be looking at today as I'm working with the grapes. Some of them maybe not no good no more because I'm busy. I don't have. This is where I wish I had my daughters, right? Because, you know, like lettuce, I buy lettuce. By the time I'm done doing the daily grind, you know, I don't want to deal with lettuce after a week and a half of it sitting there, depending on how fresh it was when it came in. By the time I have time to make a salad, I have to chuck out the lettuce. So, before I, but I'm solving that problem by just not buying that many vegetables anymore, right? In terms of the bulk like I used to. Marcane phoned up yesterday. Do you have any fresh potatoes? I said, no. If I order, I'll have, but I haven't ordered. And the only reason I would order would be for the sockeye salmon. That would be the only reason, those 10 cans, and I'm actually thinking to pump it up to 20 cans. And for the turkey, everything else is secondary. It can wait. And I have to get some hemp seeds. Outside of that, we're still okay. So today is, I'm just gonna forget it. You know, you see, like this it's now 10:30. He's not calling me back. He's not showing up. It's like mixed messaging. Fuck, man. Whatever. I don't care. You show up, you work outside by yourself. You had me helping you, now you're doing a solo. If you don't show up, fine. When I got time, I'll get out there and do it by myself. In a week from now, people will want money. Maybe they'll be more apt to come and help, whether it's raining or not, because it's going to start raining soon. So be it. If they don't help, well, it's just all parcel of what I do to hold down the fort, right? Oh yeah, okay, so I'm going to end it on this. I spoke with the social worker this morning on the phone. She phoned me back because I had phoned and I didn't leave a message, right? Because I phoned to say I wasn't comfortable to have that other social worker at the meeting because, I'm not trying to antagonize the situation and poke anybody's bear, you know, in terms of, you know, right? Whatever. And I don't want to be poked or have my kids poked any more than we're already being poked. So, in light of the services that this woman can provide, I already know what they are. I have already tapped into what I think works best at this point, which is the respite. And once you're signed on to respite, apparently it goes right up until age 19. And that's just a little extra financial assistance per month to help with the care of Amari, to which, you know, you spend where you think it is needed the most in terms of how you build in that care. Okay? Whether they give it to me or not, because I've already received it, because of the situation I'm in, I told the social, it doesn't matter. Because, you know, I have credit cards, yada-de-yah, and I'm very good at wheeling and dealing, even though I'm in high debt load. I'm very good at wheeling and dealing and holding down the fort, like paying all these people to do this work, or whatever. This is just an example, right? Because if I don't, the yard becomes a heat score, and then it's used against me so that they can build their case, the city of Surrey, the landlords or whatever, to kick me out so they can move in the immigrants or the students or whatever, and then my landlord can get more than double the money, right? $5,000 a month for this house until they tear it down versus $2,150. And that's just the reality of it, and she understands that, right? So I have to do the yard. This is what I told her. And then I told her about the stairs collapsing. And the only reason they collapsed is because we haven't been using them, because I haven't been opening up that rickety door, and because I haven't been using the stairs, because I never go up and down them because, you know, the door is rickety, right? You know what I'm saying? Andre went down the stairs a few times. I went downstairs up and down a few times. And then Andre went downstairs to go get something, and he came up, and then and he had to call me. He had to call me, and I had to help him just right before he went right through them. And then I told her, like, the landlord has to fix them. She has to. There's no ifs, ands, or ors about it, because if I'm working in the yard and Andre's inside with Amari and something happens, he calls, I have to run fast with that heart of steel. If I'm downstairs doing something, he calls, right? Down the vent or whatever, I'm up the stairs and I'm with that heart of steel. I can't be running around the house, right? You understand what I'm saying? And the same thing with Andre. If he's out in the back doing something, I'm with Amari. Something happens, I call. Andre's got to run up those stairs with a heart of steel. Or maybe Marcane. Or maybe Marina. Okay? Do you see where this is going with that? So the landlord has to fix them. I told her that. So don't worry about the stairs. They will get fixed. And, you know, at the same time, the window will be placed back in its frame. But because the frame is since 1962, you know, it will only hold up for about a year or so. And even then, that window should have been changed years ago. But we work around it. So, you know, there's a little bit of ease in there when it comes to that. But the stairs definitely have to be replaced. As for the leaky porch, well, with or without help, I already got the tarps. Hopefully I get the wood for free without having to pay to run those slats, because I said, the guy over there, he said, well, what do you need? I said, I need everything. It doesn't matter as long as it's, you know, not like this, right? You know, reasonable, right? I'm sure we can use it. He goes, oh, well, you gotta be more specific. Well, I need plywood. I need 2x2s. I need 2x4s. I need 6x2x6s. I need 2x8s. I need 2x10s. You know what I'm saying? And I need those borders, the long, you know, the baseboards, because they're thin. And then, you know, you run your tarp and you just run it, and it just holds everything in place with a little screw, right? So that when the water comes, the water can just run and then come off, and then whatever's on the inside, hopefully, will stay dry. And then I can take some of my pots and pans after I clear out I let Tisha go through the pots and pans, right? And I'll get a little shelf there to bring in my jars that are outside that quote-unquote food that are in boxes and put the jars there. And then I can take those pots and pans and put them in the X Club. And then as the pots and pans are no good no more for whatever reason, or maybe I want to give them away or something, I know where they are. So we canceled out on the appointment with that woman, that first social worker, because I already know what the services are in regards to what she can provide, right? And the other social worker, Taryn, I think her name is, she understood. I said it was nothing personal. I just don't want to be putting everybody up in arms, whether it's you guys or my family, because for us, it's like coming in with emotional baggage. Yeah, that's what I said. And she goes, I can understand that because of Sierra, right? You know, there's a lot of emotional baggage coming in, right? So, you know, we don't want to be, you know, stirring the pot. I told her, right? I don't want to be stirring the pot with you guys, and I don't want you guys stirring the pot with us, right? And that, you know, I understood why she called in terms of, you know, who gets Amari if something happens to me, because I'm basically leaving it open. Right, in terms of, like, I'm not filling out a particular form in general where if I died today, custody is automatically transferred over to yada-de-ya because of the unpredictability when it comes to the housing market and the long-term commitment that you have to accept before you take him in regards to housing him with his special needs and being able to go more than a mile. In other words, you're there for him until the end, until you're not around anymore. Right? And I told her I have life insurance. I said, I don't know if you know this, but I have life insurance. Something happens to me, there's money to hold down this house for at least a year. So that the family, as whoever, Tisha, Marcaine, Marina, Andre, just they as a group with Amari can ease themselves out, or maybe stay. I don't know. It depends, because obviously things will be moved around, and right, you know what I'm saying? Poof, I'm gone. Nothing moves except me, and everything else stays behind. Do you honestly think that I expect everything to stay exactly the way it is after I'm gone? No. No. It will be one big estate sale. So there's money there, not including my life insurance. My landlady's guaranteed her rent. I know it's not $5,000 a month, but there's not going to be that because somebody disappeared like Uncle John. Nobody's going to be left holding the bag, holding the bills like I was left when, you know, my family members just up and disappeared. And financially, I was required to hold down the fort. No, there's money for my kids to be able to hold down this house anyway for as long as at least a year or longer. It depends on what they decide to do. But I can't make that decision for them, especially when they're all scared to move, because once they move, all their money's going to be going for rent for the similar problems like we have here because of the just with the attitude around what's going on with these rental units. They're not seeing houses like this with blueberry bushes, plum trees, pear trees, walnut trees, grapevines, raspberry bushes, houses like this, blackberry bushes, grapevines, raspberry bushes, blueberry bushes, plum tree, pear tree, right? Walnut trees. That's what I have on this property, not including what I can grow when it comes to vegetables. Houses like this are not valued in the province of British Columbia, Canada, because we've been infiltrated by foreign investors that use local groups through bribes and kickbacks and all this other shit to tear these houses down, to build unaffordable housing for who they're going to fill it up with and how they're going to pay for it. Don't ask me, because the majority of the people around in this neighborhood can't afford it. Not that they would want to live there, but it doesn't matter. There is no value to what this house has to offer outside of milking it for every penny that they can make in terms of a homeowner when it comes to rent, until eventually they sell the property, not the house. They sell the property, and then they take the property, they turn it into one big hole, big ass dust bucket, after they destroy everything and dig everything up and haul it out of here in a dump truck, and then they just and push everybody out on the freaking streets. Well, you're left scrambling around with a disabled child looking for affordable housing, as if. And then forced to go to a grocery store and pay for unorganic, sprayed food that you can't afford because all your money's going to rent. Or, I guess, a mortgage. Not for a house with the raspberry bush and the blueberry bush and the plum. And of course, if you've got $4 million, then yeah, maybe you might be able to find that somewhere else out in the boonies with those gated communities. But chances are you're going to move into little freaking India. And if it's not that, it will be little China. And if it's not that, it will be little freaking Syrian community. And then, you're faced with racism because you don't look like them. You don't practice their religion. And, and as far as they're concerned, you're just trash because your house isn't as nice as their house, even though it's a $4 million house. You know how people are. Right? So, Taryn said basically this meeting is more like a meeting of the minds where, if something happened to me, whether I went completely blind, became completely dependent, or if I died because of my quote unquote age and maybe my workload, and I don't look after myself as well as I should because, I got to have that heart of steel and I got to stay with that daily grind and blah, 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 blah. There's that backup plan. Whether I assign somebody taking custody of Amari immediately, or whether social services are involved through child protection for that transitional stage. And that's how this all started, because that's what I told Jessica. I don't know what to do, because I've been asking Tisha for 7 years, if something happened to me, I can trust you to never give Amari away to somebody else in terms of putting him in a fucking group home, boo-boo group home, or putting him into foster care because you don't want to look after him because of this, and this, and this. I never get an answer. Never. And I've gotten, I'd have to put him into a group home because I couldn't afford to house him. I couldn't afford to look after him. Oh, okay. Marcane, how about you? Well, yeah, we'll do what we can when that time comes. But, there's no affordable housing, Mom. Okay, so I know you do it out of duty, but are you capable of doing it? Not by yourself, you're not, Marcane. Does Marina want to do it? And if she does, for how long? Because when reality sets in and you get into that daily grind, you might end up getting freaking regrets. But once you cross that line, you can't turn back. You can't just simply hand him over to Taryn and say, go put him in a group home. And if you can't make that commitment to me, why would I put your fucking name down? But I bought you a year with my life insurance for you guys all to figure it out. Not just what's best for Amari, but what's best for all of you as a family. It's like Uncle John said, stick together as a family. And if the family only goes down to Marcane, Marina, Andre, and Amari, well, then they better freaking stick together with Tisha helping for Amari's sake. But I can't sign him over to Tisha any more than I can sign him over to Marcane at this point. And just assume. So this is what this meeting is about. to get people to take it more serious and think about that long-term commitment. And trust me, if something, and I'm going to end it on this, if something happens to me today, tomorrow, a month from now, a year from now, 2 years from now, 10 years from now, whenever it happens, everybody is going to look to Andre for help. And that's why I tell Andre, God knew what he was doing when he made you. So Jessica's not coming to the meeting. We already know what the services are. Social worker said, yes, I know what services she can provide. I said, well, no point in putting everybody up in arms, because everybody's on backlog with that emotional baggage on guard, which isn't going to accomplish anything good for the long-term goals here in terms of the safety nets for Amari, so that he doesn't end up in a group home, so he doesn't end up in a foster care system, so that he doesn't end up abandoned as an adult, 22 years old, with nobody loving him and looking after him, not because they get paid for it, but because they love him. And if you notice, all these years, this yard is still producing food. And I don't even have to do anything to have it come. As a matter of fact, Andre's got to go out in the back and pick those blackberries. I'm going to send him out to do that today before it rains, because there's blackberries out there. I don't care if it's a small bowl or a big bowl, depending on how many blackberries are, because the city cut the blackberries, Medusa, I think that's what we call her, Medusa. Matilda the raccoon, and then we got Medusa. I don't know. Anyway, we named that blackberry bush long time ago. And the city of Surrey, on the other side, like in the alley, they've been getting rid of all the blackberries. They're trying to kill off the blackberry bush. But she sneaks over onto my side. So on my side is a whole bunch of blackberries, because Abdul was showing me, and he was feeding me the blackberries. So I know there's blackberries there, and it hasn't really rained hard yet. So there's probably a little bit. I don't know. We'll find out. I'll get Andre to go pick them. Maybe I'll go outside and look. I'll see. I'll cut a path for him, and he can pick them. And as I'm processing grapes, I will either freeze those little bit of blackberries, or I'll just put them in a jar and I'll freeze them, and that's one blackberry pie in the future. Let's just put it that way. It doesn't look like Gabe's coming by. So what is it with this dude? What is it with this dude? He keeps telling me he's coming. He doesn't freaking come. And then I get mad. I say, forget it. Tell James, and then the guy shows back up. I told him, like, fuck, man. I went and told James that, blah, but okay, if you're serious about it, yeah, okay. And then he says, yeah. And then he phones me last night, I'll be there at 10 o'clock. It's like going on 11 o'clock, and he has to call me back. What the hell? Who's got time for this? And you know what? I can still use a skill saw. If I have to, I will do it for myself in the drizzling kind of rain. No prob. I've done it before. So I But I'm canning grapes today. I gotta go do dishes. I'm gonna do one load of laundry. I'm gonna clear off my jars. I got my jars out ready for, I just don't know what to do with Canadian Superstore. Oh, I so want that turkey, but I don't want to spend $300. But you know what? That nice bone, that turkey bone with those chicken claws and yada-yada. I mean, that would be like, I should not worry. I should do what my instincts tell me to do. I can make a better rich collagen broth for Amari, oh yeah. Andre wants turkey. It's a comfort food. I can cut it in half. right? I can tell my son, here, take half a turkey, cook it up for me, just make sure you give me the bones, or I don't know what I can do. I can debone it, give him half a turkey, tell him, here, go cook dinner for us. However you want to cook that turkey, you cook it, and I'll just keep the other half. Yeah. I could put those chicken bones with, well, it's just the butter balls are greasy. I don't know. But I gotta do yard work, with or without help. So maybe I'll just pass yet. I'm trying to be responsible here. Not that I'm not responsible. Maybe I'm trying to be more responsible with my time management. Right? If you buy a fresh turkey, serious. The reason I'm going to end it here, okay? And then we'll start fresh with the grapes. The reason I would buy a fresh turkey at $54 or $62, because if you want it fresh, that's what you're going to have to pay, would only be because I'd want to grind up the meat in a grinder and then can it in those little jars, 250 size, mil size jars for amari. I mean, I could unthaw it and still grind it up. I've done that before. Either or, like I don't need a fresh turkey. A frozen turkey ground up, then canned, that would still work, right? But it's not anything that I need because I already have that in my room. Right? But when I get the meat deals, I like the meat deals. I like to utilize it because they only come around a few times a year. Right? They only come around a few times a year. So this is where I would double up on those canned salmons. The sockeye, I don't want pink. I spend my money on the sockeye. Just to get the free turkey. But I gotta work in the yard with or without help. So, the turkey is still up for debate. But I would do it for comfort food too, though. And for that collagen, which actually I need to do. Honestly, I don't want to sit on that for very long. But if I do the grapes, now I have to buy another case of jars. Maybe two. Unless, of course, I use quart size, but I don't want to do big quart size full of grapes with seeds in them. I think would be better if they were smaller. Either or, this guy's not coming. Like, what the fuck is like a freaking roller coaster, man? And I'm not supposed to get annoyed? Yeah, okay, okay. You know what? It might be raining. Maybe that's why he didn't come. I'm gonna go see if it's raining. I know you don't see it, but here's those grapes. I left a few there for Mrs. Gill if she wants to go digging around for them. That's plenty for me right now. Yeah. Look. No, I don't think so. I don't know if it's raining. I so hope this guy Jason brings me that wood. I'm a little nervous that he won't now. He was just running some game on me. I'm like, no, Judy, calm down. He's just gathering it up, going around, making a nice little Kinder surprise for you. He said he'd come with it on a bobcat. So I'm suspecting it will be on a pallet, which would be really, really, really nice. Yeah. And yeah, I got my buckets almost sorted out to the way I want them for the most part, right? In terms of whatever I'm doing here. I need this box here to remove those jars right there so I can clear off and get on with these grapes. So that's what I'm doing.